Coming up next in the Jeff Crilley Show, you'll meet a true disruptor in the fight to get veterans the benefits they've earned. His incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, over the course of my news career, I know I've done dozens of reports about VA medical centers, the backlogs, and the fact that many veterans who could qualify for benefits aren't even applying. It's a mess. To talk about that today, Trinidad Aguirre, he is the CEO and co-founder of VetsForever. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, I want people to know your journey. How did this idea come for you?
You know, Jeff, when I started this process, it took me about 20 years to really get up the gumption to file for a VA disability claim. I was sitting around my son's baseball field, and, you know, I had a bunch of vets on the team, and they asked me, well, why aren't you applying? And I came up with all the excuses that veterans today come up with. You know, I don't feel myself as disabled. I don't believe that I deserve it. Things of that nature. Long story short, after several conversations, I went and took the plunge, and I applied for the VA. It was like throwing spaghetti on the wall. Everything that I felt that I deserved, I put in. And at the end of the day, the VA told me no on most but 2 claims. So the frustration that I felt, the anger because I felt that I was being lied to, or I was telling a lie and not being truthful, really carried through. So I really delved into the process to really understand how I could be a resource for other veterans so they don't have to travel that same path.
So many people see a problem and they say to themselves, well, somebody ought to do something about it. It takes a rare person to say, I'm going to be the one who does something about it. So tell us about VetsForever and how does it simplify the process?
Yes, we take it and we do see ourselves as a disruptor in the field. One and most important is that we are VA accredited. We're a VA accredited law group, which means that we've gone through the rigorous process with the VA, following the regulations and the rules, so that when a veteran comes and asks us for help, we're not dispelling more of the misinformation, more of the myths, for lack of better words, that are there on the outset when you go online. When we look at free resources like the VSOs, and we really honor them. However, just here in Texas, for every 3,000 vets, there's 1 VSO officer. So the demand is overwhelming for those volunteer workers. They may not have the support and knowledge that they need. So they come to us as a trusted body to say, how can you help me with the process in filing the right paperwork, looking at their medical records as an example, and to really say, this is the strategy that we propose for you, and this is how we're going to prepare you so that your outcome is most favorable and we get you the ratings that they've earned.
We're going to pull up your website, and as we do that, I want you to talk about an example of a person that you've helped. You don't have to use their real name if you don't want to.
Sure. William, I met William casually at one of my nonprofit functions, and we started talking, and he's an Army veteran. Long story short, he was in a battle Fallujah, and his primary role is to go around the city. And if you imagine the way he described it, in the carnival game where you see the ducks and you shoot the ducks with the rifle, well, he was the duck. And so he saw a lot of trauma and a lot of, as you can imagine, horror in his tour. Long story short, when he got out of the service, the Army had only given him 40%. And he thought that was the world. He was like, wow. And when we started talking about what he was rated for, I'm like, my friend, you are severely underrated. These are the things that we need to, if you go with us, we could help you with these things, and we did. We sat down, and that immediate trust from veteran to veteran was almost instant, because he understood that I worked in the same battlefield space that he did. And he understood the vernacular, and he understood that I went through the process of 100% service disabled vet. Long story short, we got him to 100% in a short 9 months, thanks to the way we were able to position and help him ultimately tell his truth. And at the end of the day, he's a very happy veteran.
We've got some video from our library that we're going to run right now. Are there any statistics on the number of vets who just haven't even applied, like you admitted that it took you 20 years to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's roughly 17.5 million veterans in America today. Roughly 20% have applied for a VA disability claim. Most of those, when you look at it, 86% of, if you look at just the Gulf War, Vietnam era, that's almost 86% of those veterans have experienced trauma, almost 4 times more than your average civilian. So to say that mental health isn't at the forefront when we talk about veteran suicide, when we talk about the mental health overall from the pain that they suffer, whether it's a bad back or knees, what have you, the pain is real. And most veterans say, I'm okay. We're tough. Self-care is the last thing in our mind. And we just don't take the time, or we just don't know where to start.
Okay, Trinidad, if there's a veteran watching this right now who says, I think I need to get involved, we're going to put something up on the screen because there's a nice graphic there. What's the process like? Do you have a onboarding interview?
No, I'm glad you asked that. And it's a very simple process. It simply is 5 steps. First, is you just have a simple conversation with me and the senior law advocate. Essentially, we're going to just talk about what you did, what your role was, and what hurts. The second is we're going to file the right paperwork for you, such as a statement of support of claim, so that we really know how to tell and position what has happened to you directly to the VA. The VA appreciates firsthand information such as these forms. Third, once we submit, fourth is the CMP prep, which is like our Super Bowl for veterans. The CMP prep, we'll go in and we reduce all of that stress and anxiety for you as you walk in and talk to the rater. So when you walk in, you know how to tell your truth the most effective way. And lastly, when you're going to get the VA to make the decision. Did you win, or do we need to appeal the process? And that's why one of our partners is a former JAG officer, and we're able to advocate on a greater scale if required. But we feel very confident. We've been battle testing this for the last 2 years, and we feel very confident in helping just about every vet that comes across our doorway.
So I know this is a strange analogy, but I know, when there's a tornado or something like that, the insurance companies notoriously will give you an offer, but the offer's too low. I mean, is that pretty much common in VA benefits, that they're deliberately giving you an offer that is not just?
Yes. Oftentimes, veterans will tell me I lost, and the rating will be a 0% rating. Or if I ask for mental health, it'll be a much lower rating than what the situation dictates. But the veteran, if they're not familiar with the process or how to really confront that with the VA, do not know how to ask for the increase. So after a period of time, we're able to go in and advocate for the veteran and say, listen, as an example, mental health, they gave me 50%, and I'm thinking that's the greatest thing ever, when in actuality, you're more than likely to be at 70%. So that the VA has submitted as much as they encourage veterans to come in and ask for the increase, but they're more than likely to give you that preliminary or entry level disability rating, and then you have to go in and prove why does your rating require more.
And I have to imagine you have some integrity with the VA system because you're accredited. So when you even come to them with a client, they know it's serious. Absolutely.
Because we're VA accredited, which means that we have to adhere to the integrity, the ethical standards, the regulations. It's called the 38 CFR. It's a really long and very boring government book, but we review that. We show and guide all of our veteran clients exactly where we're getting our information. That's our golden source. So when we write the statement of support of claims or fill out their respective paperwork or advise them on the C&P examination, it's consistent with what the VA is looking for, so that, again, to your point, the credibility is there and they're more likely to approve because we've checked all the boxes that they're looking for.
Outstanding. We've only got a minute or so left. So look into the camera on the left and talk to the veteran who says, man, I think I need to do something about this.
Absolutely. You know, if you're a veteran and you're hurting, you're frustrated, you don't know where to go, I strongly encourage you to go to VetsForever.com. Well, who we are, it's a simple conversation. Take 15, 20 minutes of your time. Hear how we could help you. Because as a 100% service-disabled vet, as among all my other co-founders and my entire company, we are behind you. We've got your six, and we just want to help you receive the benefits that you have earned.
Outstanding. It's been a great show. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your heart with us and for your service.
Thank you.
We're going to end with the website, which again is VetsForever.com. Trinidad, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.